We're going to use a kind of a generic pork and beans. Come in a can, and we're going to make about 12 servings. And you'll need a couple of cans of generic baked beans and a casserole dish. And we're going to put some sugarcane syrup in and some barbecue sauce, some chopped red onion, and some garlic, and some bacon, and a little whiskey, and some mustard powder. Put them in our casserole dish here. Now these will make about a half a cup serving per person. So it depends on how much you like beans. I like them a lot. So I generally like bigger servings. Spread out the beans here. And then we'll start with the onions. Going to use about one medium-sized red onion chopped up. Spread it around nice and even. And we'll mix it in. So we've got our red onions in there. And we're going to put about a half a cup of chopped garlic. And we'll mix that up. Then we're going to put in a cup and a half of sugarcane syrup. And we'll mix that in real good. We're using Steen's sugarcane syrup, and essentially sugarcane syrup is derived from sugarcane. They essentially boil it down until it gets to a syrup. It's a lot different than the other syrups like maple syrup, which is from maple trees, or some of the cornstarch syrups. It's got a really rich, dark flavor to it. It's somewhere between like a light pancake syrup and a really dark molasses. It kind of falls in that middle of the road for cooking. It's a little strong if you're going to use it on like breakfast waffles or pancakes, but it's great for cooking dishes like pork and beans or pecan pie or things like that. And then we're going to put in half a pound of chopped bacon. And you can use any kind of bacon you want. I like to use smoked bacon, either hickory smoked or apple smoked. And you want to make sure that you cook the beans thoroughly because the bacon is raw that we put in there, because we want all of the bacon grease and fat to melt into the beans. Now we're going to put in some barbecue sauce. This is my own homemade barbecue sauce, and we're going to put a cup in. You can use whatever your favorite store-bought brand is, or make your own. We'll stir that in real good. But we're just going to take a little whiskey and just give it a nice sprinkle across the top there. You can adjust it to how much you want the whiskey flavor to be in there. It's going to cook off, a lot of it is. You can always add a little more in the middle of the process. You can also use a dark beer instead of the whiskey. I've used a Abita Turbo Dog before. That's a really good beer to use. It's got a real dark molasses flavor to it, or maybe a Guinness or a Bass would work pretty well. And we're going to add some mustard powder to it, about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Just kind of sprinkle it in there. And the reason I'm using mustard powder is, one, it acts as a nice thickening agent, and the other reason is that regular mustard has a good bit of vinegar in it, and the barbecue sauce already has a lot of vinegar in it, so sometimes it tends to get a vinegar overload. Because I want the mustard flavor to come out, All right, so we're going to put the beans in the oven now at 350 degrees for about 2 or 3 hours. You need to keep it in there about 2 hours to get the bacon fully cooked. And after that, the extra hour you can use to make it a little thicker or a little crustier on the top, depending on what your taste is. All right, the beans are ready to go. We're going to take them out of the oven. There we go. Got a nice crust on top of them. All right, now we can serve them up. There's an ever so faint aroma of whiskey, which is very nice. This would be a good time to add a little more whiskey if you wanted a little bit stronger flavor. So here we go. We have our BBQ baked beans.